When you're in the middle of a level 10 emotional explosion, logic is useless. You can't think your way out of a trigger because the rational part of your brain has literally left the building. Today, I'm not just going to tell you why you're overreacting, but I'm going to also give you 3 specific emergency tools to bring your adult self back online. So in the previous video, we explained what it means to get triggered. We said that the amygdala detects danger and then the whole limbic system takes over, which means we begin to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So how does this look like in everyday life and what to do when it happens? The fight, flight, freeze, and fawn responses are the 4 primary ways the human nervous system reacts to a perceived threat. Here is how these responses actually manifest in real-life behavior. Number 1 is fight, and this is the body's attempt to eliminate danger through aggression and power. How it looks? It looks like sudden irritability, explosive anger, a need to control the situation, becoming argumentative, so very often it's just arguing, fighting. It's not always physical, it can also be very verbal, very emotional. Number 2 is flight. This is an attempt to run away, to escape, either physically or at least mentally. It looks like abruptly leaving a room during a conflict. It can also look like chronic busyness. For example, we can see that with workaholics, and it can even look like ghosting people. So just a strong need to just disappear, to run away. It could also be internal, such as racing thoughts or a desperate need to stay distracted so you don't have to feel your emotions. Number 3 is freeze. And this happens when the brain decides that you cannot fight and you cannot flee. So it shuts down to protect you. This looks like being spaced out or completely numb, feeling confused, being unable to speak, and also procrastinating. People in freeze mode often feel physically heavy, cold, or completely stuck. And number 4 is also an important one. It's fawn, and this is a social survival strategy. It means that we try to appease the threat to stay safe. This looks like intense people pleasing, being unable to say no, over apologizing, and trying to mind read. You abandon your own needs completely. You abandon your own boundaries to keep the peace and ensure that the other person is happy. The adult versus inner child perspective. When you are in these states, you aren't acting out, you're reacting from a place of past trauma. Your nervous system believes it is back in the original dangerous environment, which is probably the childhood home, and it's using the tools to keep you alive. But these tools nowadays are just no longer helpful. Healing from these deep-seated trauma responses is a journey of moving from being reactive to being responsive. And here are 3 very effective ways to work through these states, both in the moment of distress and also as long-term healing. Number 1 and 2 are parts of somatic grounding. Somatic grounding is when we try to regulate the nervous system. So it's a very biological, very body-centered approach. Triggers are body memories. They're stored in the limbic system. This is why you can't think your way out of them. And normally you have to use the body to tell the brain that the lion is not actually in the room. So the first one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, which pulls you out of an anxiety attack or dissociation back into the present. It's very simple. Try to acknowledge 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you hear, and 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. Number 2 is also very effective, and it's called box breathing. You inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4, exhale for 4, and again hold for 4. And this sends a physical signal to the brain to turn off the alarm. Now the last one is a little bit more complex, but it's also very important, very useful. And it's called the adult to child check-in or reparenting. When you are triggered, your adult self has gone offline and a younger version of you is terrified. Healing involves the adult coming back to pick up the child, providing the corrective emotional experience that was obviously missing in your original story. So in the moment when you feel that surge of rage or the urge to disappear, stop and ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? And usually you will realize you feel like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. And then the dialogue. Literally speak to the younger version of yourself internally or out loud. Say, I can see you're scared or you're angry. It makes sense you feel this way because of what we went through. But I am the adult now and it's 2026. You are safe and I will handle this situation for us. Also, very revealing can be these 2 questions. What did you need back then and you didn't get? And what do you need from me right now to feel just a little bit safer? This act of externalization allows you to validate the child's emotions without letting them hijack your behavior. And the goal is to create a safe home base within yourself that you never had as a child. So if you're really excited by this approach, I would strongly suggest you look into IFS therapy, or you can also try to find an IFS therapist in your area. It's become a very popular approach. Healing isn't about never getting triggered again. It's about shortening the time you spent in that inner child state. Every time you use these tools, you're building a bridge back to your adult self and creating the safety you didn't have before. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these responses, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, do you recognize most in your life? And why do you think that's the case? If this video helped you understand your brain and your life a little bit better, give it a like and subscribe for more tools on healing and emotional regulation. Remember, it's 2026. You are safe. You are the adult. You've got this. I'll see you very soon.